welcome back to Trash Talkin. I'm Reg. I'm Ian. We're in the dead zone in sports right now. I mean, if you're a hockey fan, it's still going on, coming right off the All-Star game. Not much to do with basketball until Thursday night this week. And football done. Now we got, obviously, college hoops starting to heat up. March Madness coming up soon. But in the past week or two, we've had a lot of excitement with women's college basketball. And it's had a lot of people who don't usually pay attention to women's college hoops really starting to focus on it, and it's because of Caitlin Clark, and she broke the all-time record for women's basketball for points this week. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think Caitlin Clark is going to do for women's basketball? Because obviously, I know me and you watched it, and you texted me to watch it, and we don't usually, I don't know why, but we don't focus on women's basketball as much as maybe we should. But I know the whole America was watching it. It was a huge thing. It was on the news, CNN. They were talking about it. What do you think she's going to do for women's basketball?
Well, first of all, I mean, I've never watched women's basketball before this year, and watching her, it's amazing to see what she has accomplished. 3,500 points, 1,000 assists, 850 rebounds, and she's coming back for another year.
Yeah.
Now, good for her that she is the Steph Curry of shooters for women. And she is actually a great passer. She's not a hog by any imagination. You could tell that her teammates love her. Just watching the crowds, I mean, line up for the games to watch. She's selling out wherever she goes. And she's so big that Fox, for their primetime hoops on Saturday night, had her in women's college basketball on. It was unbelievable. The crowd was great. And the other night when she set the record, I'm glad she did it at home.
Yeah, you said that.
It was unbelievable for what she has done for women's basketball and college basketball in general. And I think she's going to be a pioneer in the future for the WNBA.
Yeah.
I think she's going to help the women get more money, and I think it's going to be promoted more, and I think you're going to see more and more television games.
Absolutely.
And good for her. She's a pleasure to watch. She talks great. She talks about her teammates, her coaches.
Yeah.
And excellent to watch. How about yourself?
I watched the full Nebraska game. I had a gig when she broke the record, so I watched the highlights. But I watched the full Nebraska game because my dad was watching TV downstairs. I said, okay, I'll put it on upstairs. I'll pay attention to this. And instead of coming downstairs when he was done down here, I watched the whole game because there was something, I don't know, it was supposed to be a historic night for her, and she was passing the ball. She wasn't hogging it. Like, even though they lost, I thought it was a great performance. I think watching her, what she's going to be for the WNBA is the hype that LeBron had coming in to the NBA when people were selling out to see him in high school. I think you're already seeing that in Iowa, but I think she's going to turn things around for the WNBA. It's easy to market someone like that. First of all, she's humble. Listen to her talk. I love her State Farm commercials. I think she's funny, but she's easy to root for. She's just this humble person. And then when you talk about, I think her rivalry kind of with Angel Reese is awesome. Last year I was watching March Madness. I was watching LSU against Iowa. It was fun, game, and I think you can market that, and you haven't been able to market a lot in WNBA. There hasn't been that much excitement. I don't know what the reason is for. They've been trying to push it. The NBA's been trying to push it. The players in the NBA have been trying to push it. You can push Caitlin Clark. I don't think she'll go into the draft this year. I kind of hope she does, but she can make more money in college.
Well, the smart thing is, and we'll talk about this topic at another time, is players are actually in college, staying in school to make more money than they are going to the pros. In the WNBA, they don't make that much money. She made $800,000 this year. She's going to make over $1 million next year.
About time.
With the advertising and everything else, she's going to make huge money. So good for her for staying in school. And I think that's great for the game of college basketball.
But like you said, someone like her, when you can market her, she's going to push up the salaries for these players because people are going to tune in. You're going to get that promotion. You're going to get that merch sales. Like, people are going to buy Caitlin Clark jerseys. I know it seems silly to say people are going to buy WNBA jerseys because we're all so focused on the NBA. But people are. She's going to, for young girls, she's going to be LeBron. She's going to be Jordan. People are going to look at her for inspiration. I had so much fun watching her, and then watching the 49-point game highlight where she broke the record. It was like watching Curry. Like, she's pulling up from half. She's smooth. I don't know. It was something different. I really did get a LeBron type of vibe when I saw the whole arena, because you don't see that in college, even in just college sports in general for college basketball.
You don't see it in men's basketball.
You don't even see her in men's basketball. She sold out the arena. Like, you had CNN talking about her, about this chase. She's awesome. I really enjoy watching her. And, like Sabrina Ionescu is great, but like you only have one marketable player in the WNBA. And I think it was awesome how they had her spotlighted for the All-Star game with Curry. You can keep doing that because Caitlin Clark, maybe this is biased and prisoner of the moment. Caitlin Clark, I think she could have beat Curry. Like just looking at how she shoots.
That's a great.
It's awesome.
How close was it? I didn't watch.
It was 3 points. Sabrina Ionescu lost by 3. She lost by a money ball. I think it was a day.
Wow.
So it's close. Sabrina Ionescu was Kobe's like prodigy. So they have the backing from the NBA. What they've lacked is the backing from the public. And Caitlin Clark is easy to root for. People are going to be rooting for her. People like me are going to watch all of her March Madness games.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to like. I usually watch men's March Madness, and that's a problem. And I understand there's deeper than just sports, but I'm going to watch every Iowa game.
Oh, she must be TV. She is.
Everyone's watching
TV. And again, the best thing about her is she's a team player.
She is. There's no hogging.
There's no hogging. She scores a lot of points, but she also sets up her
dishes.
teammates.
She had 11 assists the other night.
And
good.
It's going to be fun to watch, and I think next year it's just going to get even bigger. And then the WNBA is going to benefit from it.
But like I said before, I do look at it as kind of like a Billie Jean King thing. But they said on CNN it's way different because when Billie Jean King was doing it, there was all this hatred and no support for Billie Jean King. Now you have people like Curry and Paul George speaking out saying this, she's awesome. She can do what we do. And like I was watching the Pat McAfee show the other day, and they were talking about because they're in Indianapolis, and I guess Indianapolis's WNBA team is terrible, and they have the first pick there. And they're all talking about like we want her to come out now so we can go watch her, so she can be. I think it's awesome for women's sports. Women's sports in general, not just women's basketball. I think you're gonna have little girls grow up and look at her because I think I don't know if this is premature, but I think she right now looking at her talent, she could be like the greatest women's basketball player ever by the end of it.
I think if she stays healthy, she will be. She'll be the top
I think that's
star.
Really possible.
And this is something the league needs.
They need this bad.
I'm sure they're dying for her to come out this year, but they don't have the money for her to come out. So
I think even if she doesn't, it's worth the 1 year wait. Everything is gonna like change after she comes to. I think it's gonna be a real LeBron.
I have a question. Based on it, maybe dumb, but do you guys think that somebody like that could ever play a game in the NBA? Or am I like
no?
Is she good enough?
No. There's certain things in life that should stay the same, and I think men's sports should be men's sports, and women's sports should be women's sports. It's nothing.
It's nothing against.
It's nothing against it. I just think
it just opens up a big can of worms.
Yes, it opens up a can of worms, and I think she is going to expand all women's sports.
Absolutely,
and that's great. And the men's are going right along with her.
Yeah.
Which is great.
They love watching it.
Competing against each other, yes, but being on the same team, I would say.
Okay.
I know Bill Burr says a lot of crazy things, but he said something that made a lot of sense. It is not beneficial for women if they blend in the NBA. If you make your own thing, if you build the WNBA, that will progress all these years of you being dismissed. If you build the WNBA, that is way bigger for women's sports than joining in. I don't think that benefits in the way that everyone thinks it does.
I was just thinking in terms of you remember Manon Rion, the goalie? Didn't play a game in the NHL. I didn't know if that was.
I think she's talented enough, but I also think that if you put her in the post against LeBron, I don't know how that's going to turn out.
It could be dangerous in a way. So I just think
I'm very excited. No, I'm very excited to see the WNBA build up. The NBA is already built up. I want to see her do her own thing, be LeBron for that league, and make it because it's not something you sit down and watch the WNBA. You look at the arenas and they're empty, and I think she'll change that. She will change that, and they will get paid
more big TV contracts.
You don't think people are going to jump on that when Caitlin Clark gets out there? People are going to line up to get her on their network.
Whoever drafts her is going to be sold out.
Absolutely, it's going to be huge for them. So that's why Indianapolis wants them out. Okay, we're going to go to our next topic, and this is the one that me and you talked about the most. The All-Star game is broken. I think we both kind of agree on that. Is there a way to? I don't think you can fix. I think there's probably possibilities, but I don't think they'll ever do it. What do you think?
There's no fixing.
No.
It is an absolute embarrassment to the sport itself at the effort that these guys are putting out, and fans are paying thousands of dollars to go watch this game, and these guys can't even put a little bit of an effort in. Just think of it. 397 points.
That's bad.
That is
I
an
can't believe it.
embarrassment.
That's
I
embarrassing.
can't believe.
And to me, the sports books, it was 355 was the total. And when we were younger, you would see the All-Star game would be 250, 260. Holy man, that's high. They can't make it high enough.
Yeah.
And it just shows you that the players truly don't care.
No.
It is basically a glorified warm-up for the players.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a weekend where the players hang out with their buddies that aren't on the same team.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They proved, and it's been happening for years, and guys like Kobe Bryant, and everybody has seen this coming over the last few years, that it's really not worth it. To me, they're better off just having a three-point shooting contest and a free throw shooting contest, because that's what the NBA is. That's all it is, a three-point. And the dunk contest, the league should really be embarrassed. When you have a G League player winning 2 years in a row of your dunk contest,
Let them in.
No one else will do it.
because nobody else will do it, because everybody's afraid to get hurt. But these are the same guys that'll go play for 2 months during the off season for their country,
Right.
but they're not afraid to get hurt
Even
there.
that's dying.
But they don't want to hurt their finger slamming the ball through the hoop. But they'll go play for their country for 2 months out of the 3 or 4 that they
That's a
have.
good point.
It doesn't make sense. These guys,
Yeah.
it's all money to these players, and that's sad. And I remember back in the day, Saturday night, the All-Star weekend, you had Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Larry Nance was great.
Even
You know,
recently, you've had Aaron Gordon,
Pete
Zach
Robinson,
Levine.
Spud Webb.
Yeah.
I mean, you had guys that were making this a contest, that were doing it for the good of the game. And the problem now is these players now, they're so spoiled. Everything is money to them. They got to make $50 million a year. They're not happy, you know. I played last night. I can't play tomorrow. You know, I got to go get my oil change. You know, the kids didn't sleep last night. I slept funny on the couch. You know, it's just terrible what it's come
What money
to.
they make.
You know, and
We all got to get up and go to
Vince
work.
Carter was the best in the dunk contest, you know, and it is unfixable. And I think the NFL did a little bit right by, you know, I don't blame the players for not wanting to tackle in the NFL.
Yeah,
So they've done it right. But the NBA, they just want a week off these players.
No, it's-
So there's no real fixing it. And in the words of my man Vince Carter, the All-Star game is over. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it sucks. I put on the second half because I wanted to watch LeBron. He didn't even play the second half. I didn't know he had like playing through a foot or whatever, foot injury. That's why he's not playing this week, which I'm sure you know. But I put it on and they were just shooting from half. No one cares. I was talking to someone else. It feels like it hasn't when they played in Toronto. That was a great game. And the All-Star game right after Kobe died, when they did up to a certain points, it wasn't timed.
That was
That was
good.
awesome.
That was a very good
It
rule.
felt like they were playing for something because it was the Kobe Bryant game. And since then, it just hasn't been good. The last good slam dunk contest we had was the Aaron Gordon, Derrick Jones one, and Derrick Jones robbed him. Aaron Gordon should have won that one. But since then, everything's just been so watered down. But they try to make it because obviously the NBA doesn't have a neutral site for their finals, so you can't have a Super Bowl week. That's what it feels like they're making.
This proves my point that Adam Silver doesn't run the league.
No,
The players run the league, and the players do
It's been a
whatever
while.
they want, how they want it, and even a lot of these analysis, they're all getting mad. They're all getting fed up.
It's hard
You have
to
a
watch.
3-hour pregame show, and they're talking about the game. You know what? Give the MVP to the guy who had the most defensive rebounds.
Yeah.
2 defensive rebounds.
well,
Give him the MVP for grabbing the defensive
how are they doing
rebound.
with them?
Not for the guy shooting 80 shots that are wide open and getting 50 points.
They showed some stats that I think it was, I don't know what year it was, but Allen Iverson was a part of this All-Star game. And the score at the end was 111 to 110. It was a 1-point game. I think it was 111 to 110. It was around that, but it was a 1-point game. And now you look at these games and it's I was watching the West is down 40. And I was why am I even watching this game? No one's trying. And I took the Super Bowl week analogy from Chris Broussard, and it was right. They were making this the media week. They're making it the stars are here.
That's all it is.
And I didn't know this, but Chris Broussard said this too, that the reason he wants them to move it from, because they started at 8:45, move it to during the day because these players go out every night during this All-Star weekend. They have there's 100 parties to go to, At least if you do it during the day at like 1 or 2, they can't go out the night before.
Well, this just
Or they
proves
go
again that they don't care about young kids watching the game.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
what's
Sunday
fun
night.
thing.
It's in Indianapolis. Put the game on at 6:30,
Yeah.
7 o'clock,
Right.
and kids can
Wasn't
stay
it
up
at
and
one
watch
point?
the game.
They've forgotten all about the fact that
They
young
don't care
kids
about
watch
fans.
sports.
They don't care
But
about
what
fans.
wasn't it 6 at one point? I feel like I used to watch it during the day.
Yes, but they don't
I think
care
it was-
about fans. Why does everything got to be out west? It's a Sunday afternoon out west. Just put the game on at a good time. Not that it matters with the way they're playing, but you can play a little bit of defense and not get hurt. You don't have to block a guy's shot.
No, you don't have to just sprint down the court.
Yeah, exactly. But what? Play a little bit of defense. Like
It gets worse every year.
offense, but it's gotten worse and worse. And Kobe Bryant said it back years ago. He said it's a disgrace. There's pickup games that guys are trying harder in than the All-Star game. And this is an image you're setting.
Yeah.
And it used to be, I saw somebody talking about it used to be a privilege to be in the All-Star game.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a prideful thing.
Now,
You're the best. You're the best players in the league, and for the people that are coming to watch, they're coming to watch the best players in the league compete against each other. And you'd think that, like, ego-wise, you'd be like, I want to be like, I don't know, if it was LeBron and KD are going up against each other, that's been a debate in the league. If I'm LeBron, I want to strap up KD because people say he's better than me. If I'm KD, I want to put the moves on LeBron because I want to prove that I'm better than him. Like, it feels weird. I don't know. If it was me, and I guess I'm not a millionaire, so I can't really say it from their shoes, I would want to prove people wrong. I would want to show that I'm better than everyone else. Like, didn't Russ have a great MVP game like in 2016 when he got the MVP for the league?
Yeah.
He got All-Star MVP, and he was the only one who was really trying out there. It felt like
That's exactly.
2017.
Yeah, he's about the only one that tries. I think they're afraid that if they play defense, they're kind of showing the guy up, and maybe then somebody will play defense on me. But to watch that, I only watched it because I knew we were going to talk about it.
Yeah,
I actually watched the game.
I watched highlights.
It was like a warm up.
It was
The
bad.
guys were passing it, one pass, 3-point shot, 168 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, they're
Like,
just chucking them up.
No, I know.
I know, but they're not even trying. Someone said, like, think about like Luka, who grew up in Europe playing very competitive basketball, and people like Giannis. They're probably looking around like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, and I know Luka partake in just shooting it up, but someone said too, like, because I think Giannis had a comment after the game or before the game how he wanted to compete, and someone said, well, why isn't he competing? I feel like if you're the one guy competing out of everyone else, you will look horrible.
You'll look
Right.
They don't
So
want to
you
look bad.
can't, like, if I'm Giannis, I can't say, okay, I'm just going to turn it up and go for 50 and 10.
Sure. Nobody
Because people
wants
are gonna
to jump in
crap
front
on
of Curry when he shoots
No.
the three because the fans want to see him.
Yeah.
So they don't want to look like the bad guy. But it's terrible. To me, just get rid of it. Have a skills competition, and that's it. End the story.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
what I mean.
about making money. That's all. The only reason they have all-star games is to make money.
And you can get rid of the like obstacle course they do almost like on the first night.
It's stupid.
It is not fun to watch. It's just kind of to pass time till we get to the 3-point dunk contest. It's like Scotty Barnes should not have been dribbling. He can't. We know he's not like a playmaker. He should not have been trying to dribble through things. He's not. But the NFL seems to be the only league that actually listened to their fans, even though it's not great. Still, everyone made fun of the Pro Bowl because no one's trying. And they said, okay, let's just scrap it and try something else. Let's do flag football, which isn't much better. I didn't watch it again this year.
It's not watchable.
It'll never be, but at least they did something to fix it. I don't think the NBA can try.
I don't think real fans are in between the Super Bowl watching guys jumping through hoops,
No.
knocking balls, and
But
doing stupid things. To me, football is hardest to do.
Yeah.
Baseball is pretty good. It's in season.
I love baseball. It's also game. I
Baseball
watch
does it. Baseball does it the best.
But look at the home run derby for baseball. You don't get like guys playing in AAA. You get Shohei Ohtani. Everyone was very excited about that. Vlad Guerrero, Julio Rodriguez last year at his home field.
Yes.
So you have storylines to watch. Like, I wasn't turning on the TV for Mac McClung again.
No,
This
exactly.
wasn't happening. I don't know.
Baseball players, they take pride.
They value it.
And they value going there. These players in the NBA, they're so spoiled. They don't value nothing but their next contract, so they can get $50 million a year. It's play 70 games. Then when they play a few extra games, they complain. And you shouldn't have to throw money in front of these guys all the time
In-season
to
tournaments,
play
yeah,
hard. If you watch any college NCAA basketball game, these kids are trying their hardest,
Yeah.
and less than 1% of them are going to be anywhere playing professional basketball.
March Madness is
But
better
they
than any
go
NBA.
all out, and they're not making money. So
March Madness is way better than any NBA game.
you'll never be able to watch the NBA after.
But the NBA in general has an issue. because they could have. I don't think they would have, but I think they could have pulled past or equal with the NFL at one point. 3 or 4 years ago, they were at a peak. Basketball was great. Harden was averaging 38 points per game. He was on that 30-game streak where he had 40 points, and they let everything go. Players stopped caring. I mean, they put the in-season tournament in there to get people to care more about the regular season. Well, that's an issue.
Unfortunately, it all started when guys were resting for games and they didn't want to play, and then one guy started, and then next thing you know, this guy didn't want to play tomorrow, and this guy, and it just built up, and they proved that they didn't care about the fans because they forgot that people were spending good money on going to the game, and same with the All-Star game. So,
all right, we will move on, but there's a cool quote. I think it's Joe DiMaggio who said, "Of course, I'm going to play every day and give my all. It might be a kid's first time seeing me. I wish some players like Kawhi Leonard and even my guy LeBron would understand how great they are to kids and that people are spending money to see them specifically." All right, this one we could go on for a bit about. This is the LeBron GOAT debate. This was his 20th playoff NBA All-Star appearance. He broke a record for most All-Star games started. In longevity-wise, no one's ever touched him in that way. I want to know what you think. We already talked a little bit, so let's get messy. Where does LeBron rank in your GOAT conversation, especially after another accolade this weekend?
I put him in the top 5. I don't think he is the GOAT. I think he's played the longest. He's played the most games. He keeps himself in great shape. He's an unbelievable basketball player. Yeah, no doubt about it. He's got a heart of a champion. I still will never put him in front of Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Magic Johnson. I'll put him at number 4. I've seen those guys. I'm a lot older than you. I've seen Magic Johnson play and the way he played, and they played every night. And Kobe and Jordan are the assassins. Those guys, they just didn't want to lose. They had the biggest competitor I've ever seen. Not that LeBron's not, but I just don't put him in there. I think for me personally, the part that's hurt the worst for me, where I'll never put him in there, is the way he went to Miami, the way he had to go and play with better players. He couldn't win on his own, so he wanted to, he made a show about where he was going to go, and he wanted to go play with his friends. You never saw guys in the old days do that. Guys couldn't do that.
Jordan didn't have to do that, though.
No, but guys didn't do that. They never whined. I mean, they weren't on the – Jordan didn't have the greatest
punched
teams.
His teammates, though.
No, but he didn't have the greatest teams. I mean, Magic Johnson had great teams, but they had to beat the Celtics all the time. I think, to me, LeBron, the way he – to me, players play, owners own, coaches coach, general managers general manage. And I think LeBron has tried to do too much everywhere he's gone. For me, I think he's gotten coaches fired for – just because of him. I think that's the only reason I will not put him ahead of those guys. I mean, he's a great athlete, keeps himself in unbelievable shape. He's avoided major injuries because of how great he keeps himself. But to me, I can't put him. I'll put him at number 4. He's a great athlete, but to me, I won't put him ahead of those other guys.
All right. You know where I put LeBron.
I know.
He's my number 1 all the time.
He's your 1.
And so I think there are 2 things that I'll give you that destroyed his legacy. Going to LA. I don't think going to Miami destroyed his legacy. I know it destroyed his legacy in the public's eyes. I blame him for not asking out earlier in Cleveland. I think what they had in Cleveland was just terrible way to treat one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. And when he left, well, people forget when he left to go to Miami, they were not a playoff team before he went. They were 40-42 the year before, I believe. And the one thing that I think is kind of confused about LeBron is that he has never went to be a part of a super team. He's went to make teams. And I believe that Miami Heat team is the most overrated super team ever. I think if it was just Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and they added another mid-tier superstar, I think they maybe are like a 6 seed, just the players around him. When he went to the Heat, I think that was when he took control. And obviously he choked the first year against Dallas. Yeah. And that was the one thing with LeBron. I have rebuttals for everything about LeBron. The Maverick series, I'll never be able to defend. He was horrible, and he's the reason they lost that series. Yes. But I think there's a lot of things that we kind of forget with Jordan. When I watched the Last Dance documentary, I remember seeing everyone post, this is why Jordan's the GOAT. This is why LeBron will never beat Jordan. When I watched the documentary, all it did was, confirm to me that Jordan can't be the GOAT. I think Jordan is great. I think accolade-wise, I think greatness-wise, the aura of Michael Jordan, I remember Shannon Sharp said you walked in a room with Michael Jordan, and before even seeing Michael Jordan was there, you kind of knew he was there. There's like an aura to him. But we've talked about the finals so much with LeBron and Jordan, and they're two different finals to me. You have, I got a graphic here that I love. Michael Jordan played the Trailblazers, Jazz, Supersonics, Suns, Jazz, Lakers. The Lakers were at the end of their dynasty run. They were all old. The Jazz, I think LeBron gets in 4. The Karl Malone and John Stockton Jazz twice. So all these teams, I know net efficiency is kind of a.
But
I know people don't like.
They were the best team they had.
They were,
play,
and he beat who he played, which is you deserve credit for. And I would not take any credit away if people didn't use LeBron's record in the finals against him.
We say the same thing about the Cowboys when they beat up on the Giants and Redskins.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Same thing.
I agree, but we're not going. We're not saying, well, this team, the Cowboys are the greatest team ever because of their record, but this team played harder teams in the finals, so they can't ever be like the Patriots lost in the finals. They lost to great teams. They're inarguably better than that Cowboys dynasty.
I remember Jordan playing against the bad boys of the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, they were
getting
team.
beat up for a couple of years. He stuck with it to get by them. I mean, they were getting fouled, and so they got past that point where they beat him.
Absolutely, he got beat down in a different NBA. But I'm going to read you LeBron's finals opponents, and I want you to tell me which of these teams are not all-time great teams. 17 Warriors is probably the greatest team ever assembled. The KD Warriors. That's who he lost to. 14 Spurs he lost to. No, 14 Spurs he lost, 13 he won. That is one of the greatest teams ever. It was Kawhi, Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker. 2015 Warriors when they went on the huge Cinderella run, Curry, Clay, Draymond. 2011 Mavs, I already said. I'm not going to defend that. That was terrible. 16 Warriors, 73-9 he beats. And then the Spurs in 07, and the only team besides the Mavericks, they're not all-time great teams, was the Thunder team he beat. So when you look, you can always give stats, but when you add the context of the stats, the worst team here in terms of net efficiency is 4.6. It's plus 4.6. The best team for Jordan's net efficiency is plus 2.9. So I'm okay with everyone saying that Jordan's the greatest of all time. I think it's a flip-flop for me. Like if someone said Jordan's the greatest and LeBron's second, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But I think we've just there's a weird little miscommunication when we talk from LeBron to Jordan. Like Jordan's more clutch. If we're going to give statistics for the 6-0 but Jordan, LeBron statistically has been way better in the clutches.
If I had two guys to take the final shot in the game, would be Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
But what are you doing there? You're adding context.
Yeah.
So when you add context to these situations, even me as a LeBron fan, Kobe's all-time clutch shot percentage is like 31%. But like I've seen Kobe hit shots over 3 guys to win games. I would take Kobe, Jordan, Curry, just because how good he is a shooter, over LeBron for last shot. But I've always found the finals record argument to be very flawed because like that stat, I think it was 2015, but LeBron against that Warriors team led both teams in every single statistic there was. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, not 3-point percentage, it's never been his thing. Yeah. But that is what did it for me. When I you don't know this, but you're the reason I started watching basketball because we were down here when I was very young.
Me in that category.
Because
can't blame me for that.
We were down here and there was an all-star game on, which kind of fits actually perfect. And I asked who you watch, and you said, well, I'm not really a fan of anyone, but I like the Lakers. So I started watching the Lakers and Kobe Bryant.
Oh, that's right.
He was my favorite player, Kobe Bryant. And when I started really getting into it, I started watching the Raptors and the North stuff. When I really fell in love with basketball is because of you, and you're not even a basketball fan. Uh-oh. You woke me up for the 2016 last 5 minutes of Game 7.
Oh, right.
And it was the greatest sports anything I'd ever watched. LeBron and Kyrie in the last 5 minutes. Oh, God. And right there, I didn't know the stats. I didn't know anything. I decided he was my favorite player. And I never watched anything like that. And that's the clutch gene, I think, is very underrated when we talk about LeBron.
The problem with talking about all these NBA players now is the game is so different now than it ever was. And I think the game has gotten worse over the years. And I think you'll see a lot of people say that because the game has changed so much that the players that played back then, they were bumping and grinding, fouling.
killing each
2-point
other.
shots.
Under the
Nobody was
boards,
shooting.
that was
Yeah,
physical, man.
nobody's shooting
I remember
3-pointers.
that.
You know, I mean, now every team now 35,
You have to
40
shoot a 3-point.
3-pointers a game. I mean, back in the day, if there was 10, 12 3-pointers shot by each team in a game, it was like, holy man, what was that guy shooting a 3 for?
Well, look at centers
You know, now they're going up for a layup, and the guy's passing it out. He doesn't
All the
want
way
to
out.
take the 2
I know.
points. Doesn't want to take the 2 points because the guy's hoping for 3. Wow.
We're saying that things are different now and 30 years ago. Think of now and 10 years ago. Centers, now every center has to be able to shoot a little bit. When there was a point where it was like guys like Andre Drummond, who were just there to get 12 rebounds and 5 points a game.
Exactly.
And they were all-stars. So things have changed, and I agree with that.
You'll never see guys. You know what? Another all-star MVP, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh,
I
yeah,
forgot
you never
to
see
put him
that.
in there.
He
He was
was
unbelievable, but you
In
had
the
guys
post.
like him, Ewing. I mean,
Yeah.
guys in the middle.
Robinson.
Even Lambert was a goon, but he was
Yeah,
great.
big guy, yeah.
Big guy in the middle.
Yeah.
You're
it's
not going to
changed.
see that anymore, and it's sad because I think that was a great part of the game.
Yeah.
He threw it into the post. You know, if the guy turned around, took a jumper, if he was double teamed, you know, it just the way the game has changed.
It's softer.
It's a lot softer league, and to me, stats, especially points and assists, they don't mean as much as they did back in the day.
Points,
Because back in the day, you know, the games are 95, 88 or something. Now you're getting 130, 125, and, you know, and there's so many bad teams now in the NBA that you can pad your stats on Washington, Charlotte, San Antonio.
We've got some games going in a half that are like 70 to 65.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, guy, it's crazy to watch. One more LeBron argument for you. Hall of Famers faced in the finals. LeBron has faced 30, and Jordan has 9. So we're adding some context. Tim Duncan 3 times, Tony Parker 3 times, Ginobili 3 times, Dirk, Jason Kidd, Durant 3 times, and Durant 3 times with 2 times with the Warriors. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi twice, Curry 4 times, Clay 4 times. I do not count Draymond Green. They have him as a possible Hall of Fame candidate.
Should never get it.
And he will because of how soft I feel like the Hall of Fames are now. But I guess we're adding to the list. I guess it would be 26 without his 4 appearances. But
yeah, to me, you don't just get into a Hall of Fame because you win championships.
yeah, they'll put defensive player of the year, but he was never a good.
No, that's the defensive player. I don't know how they pick a defensive player of the year anymore. What do they do?
LeBron got robbed in
Your
2012.
player, the guy you guarded, only got 28 points tonight. You were like, great. How did you stop him? You know,
You don't see many like good defensive performances.
Oh,
I remember the last one I watched was Marcus Gasol hold Embiid to 1 point in the
Gasol
playoffs.
was great. He was
And that was
very
one of the
good.
best defensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to end this off, because we can go for a bit, I know this is on the spot. I don't know if you wrote it down. I didn't write mine down. I just kind of want your top 10 all the time, and you can
Top 10 of all time that I've seen?
in the NBA. Yeah,
Kobe, Jordan.
is that you have Kobe above Jordan?
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
go
Jordan, Kobe, Magic Johnson, your boy, LeBron.
Okay.
I got Hakeem Olajuwon. I love that guy watching him. I know he's not in everybody's, but Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
He was one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
You know, I got Nowitzki in there for shooting. Kareem. I'm a Laker fan.
Kareem, where's that? Would that be like 8?
I got him at 8.
Oh, okay.
You know, and who do you got?
I'll probably fizzle out at 8 like you because I'll go LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Magic. I told you earlier he's not even my top 5. I was wrong. He's in my 4. Shaq, Tim Duncan at 6.
I see a lot of big guys.
I'll go Larry Bird at 6. Tim Duncan at 7.
Yes.
And then I'll go Kobe at 8. I'll go Wilt at 9. And I'll go Curry at 10.
I had Larry Bird in the top 10.
Yeah, I know you forgot Larry Bird.
One of the greatest all-time shooters that he was shooting 3-pointers
Before
before they
they were.
counted him 3 points.
And-
He got robbed.
And he retired far earlier because of his back issues, and he could have went a little longer.
But I'll tell you, back in the day with the Lakers and the Celtics, you could
Oh,
put
yeah.
all those guys in your top 10. James Worthy, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
You know, those were 2 stacked teams. I mean, they were
Those-
unbelievable. They were all Hall of Famers in my eyes, watching those series every year.
Oh yeah,
You know, you don't get that
one of the
anymore.
greatest rivalries.
And the problem now is guys just pick up and leave now. They don't form teams. One year they're here, the next year they want to play there. So
Yeah.
you don't get that cohesiveness that you had back in the day with the teams.
There's a different competitiveness too. I mean,
Yeah.
I love LeBron, but one thing that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way was I think it was after 2018 when even though he lost the 2 finals he lost, 15 and 18, are what I think are his best finals, even above 16. But when they got swept in 2018, I know it's like sportsmanship, but before he's checking out, he's going and giving all the other guys hugs. I was like,
there's certain guys that when they win, they like to shake your hand, but when that's Tom Brady. When they lose, Brady was the first one in the shower.
Brady was worse.
When they lose, they're the first one out.
But we always hated Brady for being like a baby. I know LeBron is a baby and a lot of, but I always wish LeBron was more of a sore loser, to where he like won't shake your hand. Like he was going up before checking out with 2 minutes left, about to get swept. But he didn't get embarrassed, but his team got embarrassed. And he's like giving Curry a hug and giving Clay a hug. He's like, I always kind of wanted him to be a baby in that. I have very few critiques of LeBron, as you know. Yeah. The going to LA was really stupid to me. It was wanting to end your career there in Hollywood and Space Jam too. Yeah. And just how close he is with other players. It's a great thing, but Jordan wasn't in that aspect. Like Jordan was a killer. He was an enigma. You didn't want to.
Kobe Bryant was the same way.
Kobe was the same way. So in that extent, but I also think LeBron is like a far better leader than Jordan was. Like watching the Last Dance, I know whenever I tell people this, they hate it.
Jordan made everybody around him better.
But by
Steve Kerr and Dennis Rodman and Craig Hodges.
Yeah.
I mean, he made players better because of himself. Like they were just average, but like best players.
The one thing that before we end, because we can go forever for this, one thing that always stuck out to me was like when Jordan retired, that team went right back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Pippen took him right back, and they lost because they didn't put Pippen in at the end because he refused to go in at the end of the game. LeBron, every time he has left a team, which I believe he has left his teams way too much, I think that is a legacy killer, even if he doesn't think so, even if I don't think so. It's going to kill his legacy. Every team LeBron has left has been a lottery pick, and not just for 1 or 2 years. Like they have gone into deep rebuilds. Like when he left the Cavs the first time, there was a reason they got Kyrie, and there's a reason that they had Andrew Wiggins but traded him away. They had first picks. And then when he left the Heat, and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh were still there, they ended up being lottery picks. So in terms of value, I know it's always skewed to Jordan's way, and I guess it makes sense because he was 6-0 in the finals. I think LeBron has a lot more value on his teams than a lot of people give him credit for. I think he is the engine for every team. Like he didn't go to Miami and play second fiddle to Dwayne Wade and say, like KD kind of did. Even though KD was the best player on the team.
These guys are all ring chasers now. Yeah. And that's the problem with sports. It's so easy for the NBA. These guys now, I don't want to play here. I want to go there. I want to play here. I want to play with my friend. It's too easy.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they hold the team hostage, and then they have to make a trade. James Harden he's the worst for it. And then they go here and make $50 million. Well, I'm not happy. I want to go here and make $60 million, play with him. It's gotten to the point where it's actually annoying, and it's ruining the league.
Well, someone like me who fell in love with basketball and watched everything, I faded away from it a little bit. I watch every NFL game on Sunday, but I watch the Lakers, the Mavs, and not even the Raptors this year. I'll tune in every now and then, but it's hard to watch. Like James Harden, when he leaves, he doesn't get traded to the Pistons. He gets traded to the big three Nets, the Sixers, the Clippers. Like he has never had a reason to be upset at where he is.
Exactly.
And he finds reason every time. It's the culture. The culture.
Always somebody else's.
The culture has changed. And again, one more critique on LeBron. He did kind of create this, which was supposed to be a good thing, in player empowerment, but then it turned into, well, I have 5 years left on my contract, but I still don't like it here. So trade me or I'm not.
It's too easy to get out of contract.
One thing, right. LeBron has never skipped out on a contract. One thing about LeBron is he has played every contract to the end. He's left every now and then, but this culture is built from him, which was not the intention. It was supposed to be player empowerment of, I don't like it here. Like Anthony Davis, he did it to get with LeBron. I don't like it here. I'm not going to play with you. I'm going to wear the Looney Tunes, that's all folks shirt on TV.
But see, they show up the owners and the coaches.
It can't happen.
And that's what I say. The players run the league. And until that changes, I feel sorry for kids because they're going to lose a lot of fans watching the games.
They're already losing. A lot of people won't watch it. And if you look at football, they never do that to their owners. So we have gone on far too long. That's what happens when I talk about LeBron. That can always happen. So thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, God bless you. Thank you so much. This has been Trash Talkin.
I'm Reg.
I'm me, and we'll see you back next week. If you want to, if you want us to talk about something that's interesting to you, let us know in the comments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a Facebook account. We're going to be making an Instagram account. If you want to be on the show, if you want to talk about some things, let us know, and we'll get back to you. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.